Greetings, royal family. I am back. Did you miss me? All right. I know I'm late. I am late with this Queen Sugar review. There was a lot to unpack in this episode, as usually it is. But I'm just going to jump right into it. Hope y'all doing all right. Hope you missed me. Kick back, relax. Let's get into it. I got my handy dandy clipboard here because I did have to take some notes because this was another good episode, of course, but there's a lot of points that I want to make, and there's a lot of things that I have to say. So let's get into it. You ready? Here we go. So the episode opens up. We see Nova and Charley sitting in Aunt Vi's restaurant. I was taken aback because I thought that Nova was banned from, Aunt Vi's restaurant. So, they're sitting there talking, and Aunt Vi Nova approaches Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi's is like, Nova board alone. You're not supposed to be in here. And Nova is just telling her that she's sorry. And in the episode, even though we're seeing it weekly, some time has passed. Because remember, Nova was on her book tour. So Nova says, it's been months, we're still family. You know what I mean? You can't stay away from me forever. And Aunt Vi just basically helps her understand, or lets her know, that the situation with the book and her bringing Jimmy Dale back around really brought up some memories for Aunt Vi that she's having a hard time, shaking. So Nova says that she's sorry, and I think Nova gets it, obviously, because she's been estranged from her family for months. But I don't think Nova understands all of the unpacking that Aunt Vi has had to do because of this book and because of seeing Jimmy Dale. You know what I mean? Aunt Vi's really having a hard time. But I will say that in this episode, Aunt Vi is the real MVP, and she has taken back her rightful place as the matriarch, Queen Vi. I'll get into that. That's just my opinion, but I'll get into that. So Charley and her are sitting down in the restaurant, and Charley is thanking Nova for putting that piece in the newspaper. I wouldn't say that wasn't a retraction in the book, but she basically took out an ad in the paper. You guys remember where Nova said things about Charley and why she would be a good candidate for councilwoman, et cetera, et cetera. And she acknowledged the fact that her book hurt a lot of people and her book hurt her sister. So Charley's thanking her for that. And Charley gives Nova a gift for her birthday, which she put in her purse. And you see Nova she just looks like a little puppy. Like, even her hair, I noticed her hair was pulled back. She had on a t-shirt. We didn't see Nova with her her powerful updo and her powerful statement jewelry. Visually, she just looked like withdrawn and just beaten down. And she appreciated Charley giving her the gift, and she told her, thank you. So Charley's thinking about going away on a vacation before she has to dive back into the political arena. You understand? So she invites Nova on a trip, on a little getaway, and Nova's just like totally excited. Like, Charley thanked Nova for taking care of her, because remember when Charley was like, drunk, and they had that moment between sisters where she apologized and things like that. So she thanked her. So Charley thinks it's a good idea to take Nova along with her on this retreat. And of course, Nova definitely accepted. So we see Micah and Blue. They're headed to an amusement park for the day. So Micah comes and picks up Blue, and they head to the amusement park. And Darla's like all excited, Blue's all excited. So they leave, and Darla gets a phone call from her mother. So, it's funny because I was just saying, I'm like, what happened to Darla's parents? Like, where the heck are they? Like, we haven't seen them in a while. So Darla's mom tells her that her best friend Jordan is in town. And, the mother is just like, I've always liked Jordan. And you could see Darla is rolling her eyes. Like, she doesn't even want to deal with Jordan. And, her mother probably likes Jordan better than Darla. So she said to her mother, okay, what's her phone number? So I guess, they're going, later on you see in the episode that they're going to meet up. But I thought that was interesting though. Like, I don't remember if her mother asked her how she's doing and how's her sobriety going or whatever. She just wants her to really link up with her best friend Jordan, probably because she wants Darla to kind of like be like her, or the image that she portrays. If only her mother knew how lit Jordan is. Anyway, so Charley and Nova, they're on their way to their little retreat, their little getaway, and they're chatting about the mill. And Charley is saying that insurance is not going to cover it because they're saying that it's arson, right? So Charley basically has to prove that the Landrys or whomsoever had something to do with the burning down of her mill. And until then, the insurance company is not basically going to pay out the claim. So she's like stuck. And Nova does offer to help. Now, this is a good thing, because even though their relationship is still a little bit rocky, I feel that Nova is going to be a huge asset to helping Charley with the Boudreaux's, Landry's, or whatever, you know. Nova's smart. Nova's a journalist. So as far as like investigating things and finding things out and bringing things to the surface, you know, she's good at that, right? So this could definitely help Charley, you know, win this fight. Now, I wonder, is Charley really interested in mending the relationship between herself and Nova, or is Charley using this as an opportunity to use Nova? Because Charley is no fool, and Charley knows that if she had Nova on her side as far as this fight that she's in with the Landrys, she definitely, the two of them together would be a force to be reckoned with. So do you guys think that Charley kind of realized this and kind of like says, look, I need her right now, so this book stuff is gonna have to wait? Because let's not forget, Charley will do whatever it takes to win. She doesn't care. She's a fighter. She wants to win. So is she really interested in repairing their relationship, or is it more beneficial to keep her as an asset, I guess, to her in her fight? You know what I mean? Or as a soldier in her fight. Let me know what you think. So Micah is talking to Blue at the amusement park about basically how does he feel that, you know, his mom and dad are not together, and that his dad has a new friend. So they're talking about Miss Deesha, and Micah is explaining to Blue, look, you know, my parents got divorced and it made them better people. They were much happier separate, and he, you know, Blue is a kid, so he appeals to that, you know, that childlike thing in Blue, like, hey, look at it this way, you'll get 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays, 2 this, 2 that, you know. And Micah told Blue, listen, if you ever feel unhappy, or if you're ever feeling upset and you need someone to talk to, I want you to call me, you know, you promise? Yes. So I thought that was a cute little like moment. You know, I'm still a little bit confused as far as Micah's role is concerned. I don't know the direction that they're trying. I don't know. I guess I just have to sit back and wait and see, because it just seems like he keeps going through the same things over and over again, season after season, episode after episode. So that'll be interesting to see where his character, like, you know, goes. So Nova and Charley, yes. So they are basically at this place. It's kind of like this outdoorsy type of environment. Seems like a real spiritual, holistic, tranquil getaway. So they're looking like, okay, you know, so they're going to be sleeping outside in a tent-like area. There's an outhouse. So they're looking around and they're going to make the best of it. You know, Charley said it's just like when Dad used to take us camping. So it's good. It's a good environment. The host was real peaceful and tranquil and soft-spoken, and she was showing them around and showing them where they were going to stay. So they eventually go for a walk. Now, they go for this walk, right? And the environment I loved. I loved that it was outdoors, away from the city, away from any distractions, just one with nature. And they're talking. So Nova says to Charley, you know, I'm sorry about, is his name Remy? I'm sorry about Remy. And she states to her sister, Nova says, I thought it was okay to date Remy because you guys didn't sleep together. So Charley is just a little bit confused. Now, it sounded ridiculous to me when she said it too. I was just like, what? That's your sister. Like, I don't care if they just held hands or if she even told you that she had a crush on him. That's your sister's man at the time. Like, why would you think that that was okay? Like, so Charley's just looking like she's confused. Like, she said, so because I didn't have sex with him, you thought it was okay to date him. Okay, I don't get it, and in her head, in Nova's head, it makes sense. But Charley is just trying to basically figure out, like, why is it that you do the things that you do? Like, what is it? And, Nova's just like, well, maybe it's a flaw within me. I'm working on it and things like that. And Charley's whole thing is you would rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And I said, "Ooh, that's an interesting statement." A lot of us are like that, whether we know it or not, right? Like, doesn't that make sense? Like, that's a legitimate question. And sometimes people don't even realize that that's what they're doing. Sometimes people do realize that that's what they're doing. Sometimes they figure, you know what? No, I'm not gonna ask so and so how they feel about it. Like, screw it. If it's wrong, they'll forgive me. I'll ask for forgiveness. And sometimes, like I said, people they don't even realize that they do things like that. So Nova realizes that that's a flaw that she has to work on. Her communication skills, they suck. Pretty much, they suck. But this is what I don't understand, right? I have a question. Like, why is it Nova is the older sister, right? Why does it seem as though Nova Nova looks up to Charley? Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? She admires her strengths, yada, yada. But why does it seem as though Nova feels inferior compared to Charley? Like, she gives me this, on the surface, she's this smart, articulate, witty, powerful, passionate woman, right? Like, if there's a cause that she believes in, she will stop at nothing to fight for that cause, right? But deep down inside, she is insecure when it comes to her sister. Why? Like, I was trying to understand where Ava DuVernay was going with that, and I came up with a couple of things, but whatever. I'm not trying to get political at all, but I just thought that was really interesting. And maybe is it that we don't know enough about Nova yet? You know what I mean? As far as how she really, really, really feels about herself, and how her childhood really was, like the things that she endured. Why does she feel inferior to her younger sister? Does it have anything to do with the fact that her mother is Charley's mother is white? Does it have anything is it fueled by anger because Ernest stepped out of his marriage and Charley was a result of an affair? And, like, what's that all about, y'all? I know you guys, my royal intellects will definitely comment on that. Like, I just feel that, like, she feels inferior. And, she is it envy? Is it jealousy? Because maybe Nova thinks that Charley had a better life. What is it? Let me know what you guys think. All right. So Darla and Jordan. Now, this scene really got me hot, okay? Under my bra strap. So Darla and Jordan. Jordan is the friend who the mom told was in town. She used to party back in the day with Darla. They're in a restaurant, and Darla, you could see, her body language is a little bit withdrawn. And I see why. I'm saying to myself, what's the hesitation with her meeting up with her old friend? Now I see why. Good Lord, that girl is lit, right? She's just a party girl, and she's sitting there talking about how things used to be back in the day. Totally not even paying any attention to the fact that Darla is in her 12-step program. Darla is sober now. Maybe Jordan doesn't know everything that Darla has gone through. I don't know, because the mother seems to be very fond of Jordan. So who knows? The mother may have been gossiping with Jordan and, they still keep in contact. Who knows, But I think it has to do with the fact that Jordan seems to be of a upper echelon, status, probably has a good job, making good money. So Jordan is just saying, like, she's tired of living. I forgot where she said she lived or what have you. And she was asking about, like, hey, what's going on in Louisiana? She would want to move there. And Darla's just like, Darla just doesn't want to be there. Why did Darla meet with Jordan? Did Darla meet with Jordan because she knows that Jordan was with her the night that Blue was conceived? And was she really looking for an answer because this was really bothering her? This was holding her up, emotionally. If you, at the mere mention of Jordan's name, Darla rolled her eyes when she was on the phone with her mother, right? So why did you really meet with her, Darla? Like, did you really want to get this information? I think so. Anyway, Jordan is sitting there talking about how, her mother did mention that she was in a 12-step program, and she kind of glazed over that. Oh, how's it going? Jordan starts talking about the night that Blue was conceived, and she was talking about how lit we used to be, and oh, fun times, and oh my God, everyone saw you go upstairs with guy number 1 and guy number 2. I forget their names. Darla's head is spinning. Darla's head is spinning because it's like she's reliving this traumatic situation, right? And she's like, and what was your boyfriend's name at the time? And Darla's like, Ralph Angel. She's like, oh my God, like, we had so much fun. Like, you were out of your mind. Like, you were so wasted. And I just don't understand, if you know that your friend is going through, is dealing with sobriety, you know what I mean, and had serious drug issues, what part of your cerebellum was turned off to make you think that it's okay to relive these good times? Like, what's good about that? And even if you think that that's the way you want to live your life and you love being lit, what about the compassion for your friend? Like, you don't care. You really don't care, girl. She was making me so angry. And like I said, Darla's head was spinning all over the place. And then she revealed some pertinent information. She said, which is so disgusting. Oh, when, boy number 1 and boy number 2 dragged you upstairs. You mean to tell me that you sat by and watched that? But then again, judging by her personality, I wouldn't expect her to run to Darla's rescue, because she thought that all of this was fun. All of this was cute. All of this was lit, as she says. And it just made me so sad, because in that moment, like, that to me was the icing on the cake of her relapsing for that, when she did. Remember, the guy that she was dealing with told her he knows the signs of relapse, because he's relapsed several times, and because of everything that was written in the book, how are you handling this? Darla refused to call her sponsor. She's dealing with the book situation. Then she's having to deal with the fact that Ralph Angel is dating, or she saw Ralph Angel with Deesha. Then she finds out that Deesha is Blue's best friend's mother. And it's just all of this. And then now the situation with her friend, like, reminding her of that traumatic evening that changed her life forever. Blue being told or finding out that Ralph Angel's not her father, all of this stuff, and she didn't call her sponsor. So for you to go meet up with Jordan, oh, Darla, like, you ever know those people that, like, it always happens. There's sometimes, like, you're changing your life around, and you just grow up. You're taking a different path, and then here comes somebody from your old life or from the past reminding you of the things that you used to do, and still holding that picture of you or that perception of you as true, as if that's who you still are, not respecting the path that you're walking now, not respecting who you're trying to be now. Like, this is, sometimes when a door closes, it's, it doesn't have to close with animosity. It can be all love, but there's some situations, relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, just things that have to stay where they are. You know what I mean? And that was a gift and a curse in my opinion, because it was a curse because it caused her to relapse, you know what I mean? And it was a gift because she did find out what happened to her, which essentially set her free in a sense later on in the episode, right? Like, you know, I guess you have to have, and see, this is where Aunt Vi comes. Okay, I'm getting ahead. All right, anyway. So Darla goes to the bar because she realizes that basically she was raped. Like, she was even afraid to say it. You know, she realized that she was raped by two guys. And it was two guys that took her upstairs that night because she doesn't even remember. She said she didn't even remember that there were two people. So she's sitting at the bar, and she's knocking them back. And again, this is a familiar way for her to numb her pain because she was on drugs and drinking before. So moving along, Micah loses Blue. So Blue has to go to the bathroom. Micah tells him to go ahead. He turns his back. Blue is standing on the men's line, which is too long, so he goes into the women's bathroom. Micah gets a text message from Kiki saying that she spoke with, what's the boy's name? The boy, their friend that's locked up. She gets a message saying like, oh, you know, so and so, whatever the young man's name is. You know, I talked to his mother, and is it Antoine? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is getting out of jail soon. So he turns his back for a split minute. He turns around. He doesn't see Blue. So he's asking around. Have you seen Blue? Little boy, short, yada yada. Not knowing that Blue went into the ladies' room. So Blue ends up finding an officer. He's walking around telling the officer that, you know, he's lost and he lost his cousin. So the officer tells him to get in the car, you know, he'll come and look for you or whatever. So we see the next scene where Aunt Vi is in the diner. Who gave Aunt Vi an iWatch? So Aunt Vi is trying to program her little iWatch or her digital watch or what have you, because she's going walking. So the gentleman who basically vandalized her diner, she has him working there, so he helps her with the watch. And of course, she's still snarky and like a miserable old bat to him, but it's with love. She's really giving him old school tough love, so he just smiles. So Aunt Vi is walking. So we see Aunt Vi walking out or whatever. So Aunt Vi runs into Darla in the park. Darla's drunk, she's disheveled, so Aunt Vi is calm, cool, and collected. She's not panicking. She just said, Darla, like, you know, what are you doing here? You know, and she's just incoherent. She keeps talking about she's looking for Blue. She says, hey, you know, they went to the amusement park with Micah. So she's like, what have you been doing today, Darla? And she's just all incoherent and walking around and, you know, she's like, okay, baby, let me take you home. And Darla's trying to fight her a little bit, but she says, yeah, let's go find Blue. So Aunt Vi is the calm, cool, collected one. She knows what's up, you know, and she just takes care of her. Like, she handles her gently. She's not combative. She's not judgmental or abusive. She just, okay, Darla, let's go look for Blue. So she ends up taking her back to her house. So next scene, we see Ra, Prosper, and Hollywood. They're all sitting around, they're talking, and anytime Ralph Angel smiles, like, I hear angels sing. Oh my God. Anyway, so they're sitting around talking, and they're talking about how they're in love. And this is when Ra says that he likes Deesha. He says she's cool. And I said to myself, cool? And he says that, you know, she sees me. You know what I mean? Like, she sees me. And Prosper is talking about, you know, how he's smitten with Genevieve. And Hollywood, you know, is talking about, or Prosper says, you know, Aunt Vi is the best woman in town. So this was another good scene. Because remember, Hollywood was talking about, previous episode, Hollywood was talking about, like, men having an outlet to talk to one another. So this was a good scene to see these men from different ages, you know, young, middle age, a little bit older in age, 3 different generations sitting around talking about how they're in love with their women and they're happy and things like that. And I think it sends a strong message. It sends a good message that men can actually sit around and have these. The circle is very different with Prosper, Ra, and Hollywood than it was with Hollywood and his two friends. You understand what I'm saying? And it was just less juvenile, I guess. No offense to his friends, but it was a lot less juvenile. This was men talking about their feelings and, just confessing how they feel, being mushy, I guess, how they feel about their women. So Charley and Nova talk in the tent. And this was interesting because Nova, is it me, or does Nova's account of things seem to be a little bit off? She thought she saw her father burying a body. She insinuated that when that last addition to her book. She didn't say it, but she insinuated it. And when we saw the visual, right, of that flashback, it looked like it was a body. Prosper basically said, he was burying his pain. And her cousin, I think her name is Martha, Nova's cousin Martha, said that, no, I don't think he talked about, he didn't talk about, no, she was talking about her mother. Anyway, but yeah, Nova's recollection of things seemed to be off. So they're talking about when they were younger, and I guess Nova came to visit Charley in California when she was in college, and right, she was in college. I think that's what Nova said. Nova herself had just graduated or something like that. So anyway, she came to visit Charley. They were having a party or something like that. I don't remember if Charley was in college. I don't think so. I think Nova was the one already in college. Anyway, so Nova feels like, when people were asking her, is that your sister? Charley said, according to Nova, Charley said, no, that's just my half sister. Nova said that Charley kept warning her how to act, these are my friends and things like that. And Charley says, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I was excited that my big sister who's in college was coming to visit me, and I wanted to show her off to everyone. And Charley says, Nova, you made fun of everything that I did. I guess the way that Charley's friends dressed and the way that she dressed, Nova picked at it. And Nova felt that Charley was taking her to places that she couldn't afford. And Charley says, I was treating you. Nova says doesn't feel that way. So it's crazy. These two have two different accounts of how they spent time together. And I understand that something can happen and two people are in the same place and they can have their difference of opinions about it. But that seems to it just seems totally different. Nova said that she overheard Charley say, oh, that's just my half sister. Charley said, I never said that. Or she said, I don't remember saying that. So they really don't know each other. And that's what Charley said. Charley said, the more and more we get to know each other, the more we just don't really know each other. What's up with that though? I don't know. I understand people can have two different point of views, but Nova, did you really hear Charley say that that's just my half sister? And Charley, did you really say that and you really just don't remember? What's tea? You know what I mean? Because Nova, I'm starting to question, and I like Nova. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing her. I'm starting to question your recollection of things, because this is not the first time that you got something incorrect, or you were something was misunderstood with you. So what's going on? What's blocking you there? Does Nova have a mental issue that we don't know about? Maybe, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing too much with that. But anyway, so Darla and Aunt freaking Vi, okay? I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this because this video is already going to be long. So Darla comes to the terms that she was raped with the help of Aunt Vi. Let me tell you something. Aunt Vi lets Darla know about the rape that she endured while she was married to her husband, Jimmy Dale. And Darla is listening. And the chains of bondage were broken. I know, I'm so dramatic, but whatever. Because when Aunt Vi was talking to that Darla, she said to her, it's not okay. She said after a while, I just thought, like, this is the way it's supposed to be, I guess. She was raped repeatedly by Jimmy Dale when they were married. So when Aunt Vi revealed, like, she was raped too by her husband, Darla looked like Aunt Vi is finally coming to terms and speaking about this, but she had to iron this out, and she had to fight this battle internally before she could say it out of her mouth. Sometimes people go through traumatic situations. They know what happened to them. They know how they feel. They can't always articulate it because they're still hemmed up by the trauma. Mentally, physically, they're still hemmed up by the trauma. But when Aunt Vi was telling Darla what happened to her, did you guys notice, when people speak with the tight lip, they mean business? She let it out, and you can tell that she had fought that oppression. She fought it already. Like, she fought it because she said it is wrong. No one deserves it. And when somebody can lift you up, when Aunt Vi lifting up and encouraging and helping Darla, all while she herself, Aunt Vi, is going through hell internally, you know what I mean? Emotionally, physically, with her health, that is love. She loves Darla. Regardless of the situation of her past, Aunt Vi has never held that against her, and she loves Darla. When somebody can uplift you and still motivate and encourage you when they are going through hell, that's love. You understand what I'm trying to say? And that's just unconditional love that can only come from the Most High. Like, that scene, that's why I said Aunt Vi is the MVP of this episode, because she had been keeping all of these emotions in, and she's been saying, I just don't know, what's going on inside of me is bringing up feelings that I can't control, that I can't explain. And in that moment, it took her having to see Darla have a weak moment, and also revealing her truth to make Aunt Vi reveal her truth as well and actually come out and say it. And I know she felt a weight lifted off of her. And I know this scene was about helping Darla because she was in a bad place at the moment, but this scene was also liberating for Aunt Vi. And I'm telling you, you could see the weight lifted off of her, and I feel like she's back. Aunt Vi has taken her place back as queen. She's a strong woman. She's definitely a strong woman. And I just love the fact that she really took the time to sit with Darla, because she could have easily been judgmental. She could have easily said, oh, this is sad, but she was brave and she told her story. And I don't know if Hollywood knows. I don't know if Ralph Angel, Nova, obviously the kids don't know. Nova couldn't have known. Maybe she did, I don't know. But the way she told that story, she told it with such bravery, and I think that she was the MVP of the episode, because that was a major, major breakthrough. So Micah and Blue, they get home because the cop Micah ended up finding Blue. And he was going to approach the cop car, and the cop stopped him, and the cop, tried to tell him to calm down. And, the cop reached for his gun, and Micah put his hands up. And, he said, he's telling the cop, look, this is my cousin. So, harassment yet again with Micah. And again, that's why I said I don't know where they're going with his character. Like, are we going to constantly see him being harassed by police officers? If so, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't want to see it, because where's the evolution? You understand? As far as his character is concerned, I don't know. That's just my opinion. So the cop went up to, the officer, he went up to Blue and said, Blue, do you know this guy? And it's like, didn't he just tell you that this was his cousin? So Blue said, hey, that's my cousin, Micah. And the fact that Blue is seeing this, at such a young age, it's important, but it's also unfortunate. It's important because he needs to know, as a young man, a young black man, these are the types of things that take place, and know they're not right. So I guess they don't want him to be naive to the fact that these things take place, because, we try to shield our kids from certain things, but this is a reality, unfortunately. It's a sad reality that a lot of black men face. And he saw his cousin, a older, like a male, strong male figure in his life, after just having that good heartfelt conversation, seeing him be abused in that way, is, I wonder what that's going to do to him mentally. That'll be interesting to see. So they get to the house, and they get to the house where Rob, Prosper, and Hollywood are, and Micah's telling him, or Blue said, what happened. I was in the back of a police car, and you can see Rob get a little ticked off, like, what the heck is going on? So Micah explained what happened, and Blue said, they weren't very nice to him. And as usual, Prosper is the voice of reason. And Prosper said, keep living, keep fighting. You're going to endure injustices, but the key thing is to not let it change who you are. I think that's what I got from his message. Yes, it's easier said than done, but having an elder who's lived through far worse than what we see Micah go through in these seasons of Queen Sugar, that's important. And Micah took heed. Micah was like, yes, sir, I hear you. And Micah said he's just tired. He's just tired of going through this, And like I said, I'm interested to see if maybe Ra and Blue will have a conversation about that, because Ra's no stranger to, police presence. So that'll be interesting to see what will become of that. So Vi calls Ra and tells him, hey, look, you need to come over to Darla's right now. Now, I didn't say it, but if you remember from the episode, Ralph Angel had a date set up with Deesha that same night. But this situation happens, so he goes over to Darla's house, and he is scared out of his mind. Like, he's like, I'm scared. I don't even know what's about to come out your mouth right now. And Vi's like, no need for you to be scared. So Darla begins to tell Ralph Angel, basically, the night that Blue was conceived, there were two guys and she was raped. And, again, Ra's nervous, and he breaks down crying. And Aunt Vi said something. I wrote this down. The truth is the light, even if it don't feel like it. So interesting. It seems that Nova's book, even though it brought all of this chaos and contention, is resonating with Vi. I think that Vi is hurt because, like she said, it's bringing up a lot of memories and things like that. But I really think that she is starting to get it. And I think that she understands from a different perspective now. I know a lot of you not going to agree with me, because I know some of you have roasted Nova in my comments or whatever. But Vi said the truth is the light, even when it don't feel like it. The truth is the light, even when it don't feel like it. So Vi gives them their privacy. So they break down crying. And they break down crying and stuff like that. And Ra's just basically saying that, he's going to be there for her no matter what. And he always has her back. Okay. This is the part where, I guess save this for last, but this is the part. So Ra stays the night, right? Totally forgetting about the fact that he had a date with Deesha the night before. So she texts him. So Ra stayed with Darla. And they didn't sleep together, right? I think they couldn't have, because he was out in the living room or something like that. So he gets a text message from Deesha. So I'm like, yeah, you didn't even call Deesha and tell her anything. But I understand that was a lot. That was a heavy revelation, and Deesha probably wasn't on his mind, which is interesting. Why wasn't she on your mind? But whatever. So Ralph Angel comes in the room the next morning and says, how'd you sleep? Is everything okay? Darla's laying there, and she, is smiling, and he's like, I gotta get up. He says, I can stay with you a little bit longer. Look, she says, thanks for staying with me, and she touches his arm. Listen, I am not interested in seeing Darla and Ralph Angel get back together. I'm not, because at the end of the day, I feel like there is nothing wrong with the two of them moving on romantically. They are great friends. Darla is like family, Aunt Vi basically proved that. Darla will always be like family, and the love of Blue bonds them all together. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't feel that Ralph Angel should enter back into a romantic relationship with Darla because she's going through. Darla needs to call her sponsor. Darla needs to have professional counseling and help constantly. It's something that has to be recurring. She cannot depend on Ralph Angel loving her for her to remain sober. I think that's a dangerous codependency. I think it's dangerous. And that guy that she was dating told her, you kept emphasizing that you are going to relapse, and I see it. And I feel that it's not fair for Darla. It's also not fair for Ralph Angel to sort of be her support in that, in a way that, okay, we have to be together because of Blue. We have to be together because, you know, you going through or whatever. I want to see the two of them move on. I like Deesha. I like Darla too. First of all, shout out to Bianca Lawson. That's her name in real life, right? Darla. Great acting. Freaking great acting. Great acting. She is not disappointed from the time that she started. So I like her. Yeah, I remember when she was on, I think she was on Sister Sister for a little while back in the day. But anyway, I don't think that they should be together. I feel like, what is this? Their relationship, I don't know if it started this way. It could have. I don't know. But it's like their relationship thrived off of both of them going through trauma. Ralph Angel, you know, in and out of jail. Darla, you know, and her drug habit, you know, her addiction, fighting her addiction, back and forth with addiction. So the two of them share trauma. That is not going to sustain a relationship. You know, those people who get together, it's like, oh yeah, I was in this situation, or I was in this situation too. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't feel personally that shared traumatic situations are a good way to build a relationship. It's not going to last, because what happens when one person decides to no longer live in that trauma, or be, you know, that victim mentality in a sense, and they decide to, you know what, I'm going to step out and do what I need to do, and I'm going to change my life and things like that, right? Then what happens? That leaves the other person being codependent on the person who's trying to like move on and recreate their life, or, you know, create a better life for themselves. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes like other people's trials and tribulations can really hinder you. And like I said, I'm not saying that Darla's character is a bad person. I understand she loves Ralph Angel because he's always been there for her. And she loves the fact that he's still there, even though Blue is not his biological son. He's a great father. He's a good man. He really is. He's a good man, and she knows that. So is it that if she garners this sympathy from him, will it make Deesha go away? Is that what Darla's trying to do? She's addicted to Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel is her drug, okay? That's the addiction that she's probably having a hard time fighting. And like I said, I just think that this can hinder Ralph Angel emotionally, because he probably looks at it as, I want to do the right thing. You know, Aunt Vi would want me to stick by, you know, Darla. You can stick by her, but if it's going to impede you romantically moving on, then you're not a professional, Ralph Angel. Darla needs, and still, after all of this, the relapse, she has yet to call her sponsor, which shows irresponsibility. Royal family, get down in the comments. This is going to be an interesting discussion. I know a majority of you, not majority, I know some of you will not agree with me. All I ask is that you do it respectfully. Disagree respectfully. But you guys are good. You know Queen Sugar is my favorite. Power is back, so make sure you check out my Power review. It is long as heck, but I was excited. They're not going to be that long going forward. But Royal family, Queen Sugar, let's talk about it. Be sure to thumbs up this video. Check out my other content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. We're growing our royal family and we want you to join. We definitely want you to join. So I will meet all of you beautiful people down in the comments as usual. And until next time, peace.